Hello and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3. This has been a long time in the making. It was about 3 years ago that I first played the early access version of it, and we only played for 3 hours, but I knew the game was something special then, and I'm super excited to see what the full version looks like with all that time to polish and all the extra content that has been put into the game. Now, this video is going to be character creation for the game, but a couple of notes on the game itself. Apparently, you don't actually need any knowledge of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 to play it. There's going to be references here and there to those games, as you might expect, and you can probably see the symbol of Baal on the screen right now, that being the skull with all of the blood around it, but you don't need to know any of this. The game's going to explain everything to you, and I'm excited to just explore a familiar but new world inside of this game. So, I'm going to click New Game, but before we get into character creation, there is a cutscene that we need to see, which basically gives you a rough idea of where your character is going to be starting off. So, let's click New Game. We're going to be playing on the toughest difficulty, just because that's what I like to do. So, start game. Well, that's horrifying. So, the first thing that they get you to change in character creation is your origin. What type of character do you want to play? Do you want to play a custom character, or do you want to play a character with a pre-built story? We're going to play a custom character, but I do want to briefly mention one of the origin characters in particular, and that is the Dark Urge. Now, the Dark Urge is one that Larian suggests that you do not play on your initial playthrough. It's one that's deeply tied to the story, and it's one that can drastically change the story, which is really cool. However, if you play them, you're not going to necessarily know what the story was originally, so some of the changes you won't feel the full impact of. If you play it as a second playthrough, then you can suddenly see like, oh, because this character isn't there, then that causes this to happen, which then causes this to happen, and you can see all of the dominoes falling. If you just play it, you're just like, oh, okay, I'm along for the ride. So, we're going to stick with a custom character for this one, but I am very interested to see what the Dark Urge actually changes, and I'll be more interested once we play more of the game, because I'll start coming up with theories. I'll be like, well, what if this is the character that was removed? Does that cause this to happen? And all of that sort of stuff. So I'm just mentioning it now because it's going to be on the back of my mind. Now, in terms of a character, I have an idea in my head as to what type of character I want to be playing. And the type of character I'm looking for is one who's all about gaining knowledge for advantage. By that I'm meaning like getting all the little secrets that people have, getting like little tidbits of history and lore about regions, knowing about what kind of creatures we're coming up with, what kind of weaknesses they're going to have, all of these little bits and pieces of knowledge, and just putting them all together. And whenever we come into a situation, I want to be the most knowledgeable person in the room. I want to be the person who's like, ah yes, well I know like each and every one of your secrets, I know everything about you, and I'm able to twist things to work in the way that I want to work. So with that in mind, there are a couple of different classes, and I am skipping to class because I think that class is probably more impactful as to the type of character we're making than race, at least initially. And with that in mind, I'm thinking about what type of classes fit that ideal. On top of that, I also have kind of gameplay based things, in that I don't want to play a class which locks us out of things. I want to play a class which limits our options. So for instance, Paladin greatly limits your options because Paladins have to take an oath, and no matter what oath they take, they're going to have a subclass feature which is their oath, and they have to follow this, right? It's not optional. If you don't follow it, you become an oath breaker, and that's a cool path that you can take through the game, but it is firmly chosen by the fact that you have this oath, right? It warps the game around it. So for instance, this one, Oath of Vengeance Paladins abide by the following tenets: fight the greater evil, exerting your wisdom, identify the higher morality in any given situation and fight for it. No mercy for the wicked. Chasten those who dole out their villainy by wiping their blight from the world forever. This is firmly, if somebody is evil and wicked, they're gone. And that eliminates a whole bunch of interesting characters, potentially. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking to avoid. So Paladin is the logical extreme of this situation, but it kind of forms an idea. I also want to play a character who I think is flexible in combat. I want to be a character who can fill in multiple different roles, because that allows us to take on whatever companions are interesting to us at the time and utilize them well. At least that's what I'm thinking. So in terms of this, there are a couple of different ways of thinking about it. We could, for instance, play a magic caster like a wizard, and if we come across another wizard, we simply take another collection of spells, and we go off and we have our spell list, they have their spell list, and we fill different roles in combat. That could work, and it's something that I was toying with in terms of my thoughts. We could play something like a fighter who's just very versatile in terms of what they can do. They can use all sorts of weapons, they can be a damage dealer, they can be a tank. There's cool stuff there. We could be a cleric, that means we have no need for a healer in our party, and we can fill, again, lots and lots of different roles. But the one that I've settled on, the one that I want to play, also, just a note about the proficiencies on the right hand side, these are not entirely due to the class. If we click on details here, you can see this is what the class is giving us. A lot of this is given to us by via our race and our sub-race, and so this will change drastically. So we're going to be focusing more on the left-hand side here. But yes, what was I saying? I've completely forgotten. But yes, the class that I've settled on is Rogue, and there's a couple of different reasons for it. One, RP rise, Rogue fits really well into what I'm thinking. They get into all of the dark places that people don't want them to know about. They can break into rooms that have secrets in them. They seem very cool from that standpoint. They can stealth into places and overhear conversations. Rogues seem really cool from an RP perspective. And then from a gameplay perspective, rogues are very versatile. You can play a ranged one with a bow, staying back out of the way. You could play one in melee combat, kind of dodge tanking almost. There's a lot of different ways that you can handle them, and I think that works very nicely, as well as the fact that they get bonuses to their skills. Now, I'm not entirely sure, because it doesn't say here what the bonuses necessarily are, but if we have a look here at Barbarian, see, we just get these skills, right? These are skills that we get something to. But for Rogue, we get extra bonuses to Sleight of Hand and Stealth, which seems very nice. So I think that's what we're going to go with. So, rogue. Now, having chosen a rogue, we have to choose the race, and I'm going to look at each race individually because I'm not entirely chosen on which race I want to be just yet. There are a couple that I feel don't fit just from a baseline. Like, I don't think half-orc is really us. I think they're cool, and there's a world in which a half-orc could work, but the way that it describes it, creatures of intense emotion. Half-orcs are more inclined to act than contemplate, where the rage burning in their bodies compels them to fight, the love filling their hearts inspires acts of incredible kindness. That sounds neat, but that's not the type of character I have in mind. I'm not a character who's like full of emotion and is fighting for a cause. That doesn't really fit us. What we're looking to play is a character who's all about, trying to think of the right way of putting it. They're all about having advantages in situations, and I don't think that's us, right? I want to be a character who's kind of like a little bit above things, a little bit like, well, now I found out this, I'm going to ruthlessly act on it. Or, I guess ruthlessly might be the wrong way of putting it, but clinically act on it. Like, precise strikes, I say. Very roguey in my description, I'm realizing. So, let's go back to Elf. Elves. With ethereal countenances and long lifespans, elves are at home with nature's power, flourishing in light and dark alike. It doesn't sound like that fits what I'm thinking. From an RP perspective, this doesn't sound what I'm looking for. Tiefling. Descended from devils of the nine hells, tieflings face constant suspicion in Faerun. Thankfully, their arcane abilities make them natural survivors. I'm not really looking for constant suspicion. It's very difficult to find out someone's secrets and to be all sneaky if people are expecting you to try and find all their secrets and be sneaky. Drow. Driven to the Underdark, most Drow have adopted a ruthless pragmatism. While the Lothsworn delight in the goddess's evil tenets, the Sildarine reject her attempt to overthrow the leader of the Elven pantheon. So I think it has a little bit of what I'm looking for. The ruthless pragmatism sounds cool. But again, you're very much choosing a path. Do you want to be an evil Drow or a good Drow? I want to be a neutral Drow. Human. Human could fit. It's fairly, boring. It's fairly straightforward, but humans are definitely adaptable. And that's one thing that we could choose. I don't think we're going to, but we could. Githyanki. With a ruthlessness born from the Mind Flayer enslavement, Githyanki ride the astral sea atop red dragons, bringing their silver swords and psionic might to bear against any trace of the Ithilid menace. This one sounds like if you're choosing Githyanki, you're kind of buying into a racial crusade against the Ithilid. Like, all members of your race working together to fight off an evil. That doesn't sound like what we're looking for right now. That sounds a little bit too specific. Dwarf. As durable and unyielding as their homes of stone, dwarves are some of the finest warriors, miners, and smiths of Faerun. We could be a dwarf, but it doesn't quite fit for what I'm looking for. Half-elf. Curious, ambitious, and versatile. Versatile? I like it. Half-elves are welcome everywhere but struggle without a community to call their own. Half-elf does roughly fit the idea I'm looking for. They're potential. We'll keep them in mind. Halfling. Small yet capable, halflings prefer the comforts of home and hearth, but their natural luck and dexterity makes them fine adventurers. I could also see a world in which a halfling works for us. Gnome. Small, clever, and energetic, gnomes use their long lives to explore Faerun's brightest corners and darkest depths. I'm also kinda into that. And then, Dragonborn. A proud race that values clan and skills above all else. Once enslaved by dragons, they strive to be self-sufficient, not wanting to be beholden to anyone, not even the gods. That sounds kinda cool. Yeah, I could see us playing a character who's very much like, I want all of this knowledge, and it gives us a reason for it, because they don't want to be beholden to everyone. They want to know every secret because they want to be the person who has the advantage in the room. That sounds neat. So, let's narrow it down a little bit. What am I thinking? Well, I'm kind of between half-elf, and dragonborn. I think these are the two that I'm between. And to be honest, I think I'm going to go dragonborn. And the reason I'm going to go with dragonborn is it's a class that I wouldn't normally play. So it fits us playing something a little bit different, a little bit weirder. Now, can we have a look at our skills? Are these affected by our race? I think they are, right? Not necessarily. So I think our skills are set by our class, but our race is adding in different cantrips and bonuses currently. Oh, although, if we have a look at this one, I think Gnome is adding in. See, Gnome adds in a history bonus, which is kind of cool. Halfling, I don't think adds in any bonus. If we wanted extra history, we could go Gnome. I'm going to go Dragonborn. We're going to stick with it. Now, Dragonborns get to choose a sub-race, and this sub-race gives them an action, which I believe is their breath. So in this one, a black dragon gives you the acid breath, and then they give you a feature, which is resistance to whatever your breath attack is. It also changes your appearance, so if we jump between them, you can see that it is quite different. So, I want to go through them and just see what type of Dragonborn is going to be there. I'm not too worried about what breath attack and what resistance we have, because I'm sure everything is going to come up at some point in the game, but I am interested in what kind of RP is behind each of these. Despite no ancestral links to the mighty creatures, these Dragonborn share the charcoal coloration and fizzling, acrid breath of black dragons. Does it say the same for all of these? Yes. Okay, so all of these, I think it's... yeah. They all share no ancestral links. So actually, effectively, it is just what color of dragon you would like and which one has the breath attack you would like. So it's acid for black. It's lightning for a blue dragon. Okay. Are these the same? Yes, so I think these are exactly the same. Okay. Resistance to lightning. You got fire for a brass dragonborn. Bronze gives us lightning. Copper gives us acid. Gold gives us fire. Green gives us poison. Okay, so not acid on this one, that's poison. Red gives us fire. Silver gives us cold. And white gives us cold as well. I do like the way the white dragon looks. It is very cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. Also kind of like silver. I think blue is also... I like all these extra bits on it. I might just go the white dragon. I think that's very, very cool. So, we're going to go with that. So we have a cold attack, and we are also resistant to cold damage. Alright, cool. Now we've done that, we have to choose our background. So, I'm not entirely sold on which background I'm going to go with right now, because I haven't actually looked through any of these. So let's have a look. Acolyte. You have spent your life in service to a temple, learning sacred rites, providing sacrifices to the god or gods you worship. Serving the gods and discovering their sacred works will guide you to greatness. That doesn't sound like what I'm looking for. Charlatan. You're an expert in manipulation, prone to exaggeration and more than happy to profit from it. Bending the truth and turning allies against each other will lead to greater success down the road. Now, what's interesting here is this gives us deception and sleight of hand, but we already have these, don't we? Or we already have some of these. We don't have deception actually as a default, but we do have... oh, we don't even have sleight of hand as a default. Wait a second. Yeah, so we don't get sleight of hand either. Acrobatics and stealth as the ×2 ones. Interesting. So actually, charlatan would be very good because it gives us sleight of hand and deception, which sound like two things I would very much like. What about criminal? Gives you deception, stealth, but then we also keep sleight of hand. Oh, but that would give us sleight of hand ×2 if we went acolyte. There's something going on with this ×2. I need to figure that one out as well at some point here. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, so sleight of hand and then stealth goes to ×2. There must be another step I'm imagining for this, because... wait, we can change which one says ×2 next to it. Yeah, see if I went entertainer, now that has ×2 instead of stealth. Okay, I think it's just a little weird, and it must be a step we haven't got to yet. That would seem likely. Okay. So, deception, sleight of hand. So this would give us deception, which previously we did not have. Deception, stealth. You have a history of breaking the law and survive by leveraging less than legal connections. Profiting from criminal enterprise will lead to greater opportunities in the future. Entertainer. You live to sway and subvert your audience, engaging common crowds and high society alike. Preserving art and bringing joy to the hapless and downtrodden heightens your charismatic aura. I should also point out, I have heard that your background can provide you bonuses in the game if you act towards your background. So it's worth picking one that fits with what you might actually want to be doing as well. Folk hero. You're a champion of the common people, challenging tyrants and monsters to protect the helpless. Saving innocents in imminent danger will make your legend grow. Okay. Guild artisan. Your skill in a particular craft has earned you membership in a mercantile guild, offering privileges and protection while engaging in your art. Repairing and discovering rare crafts will bring new inspiration. Okay. Noble. You were raised in a family among the social elite, accustomed to power and privilege. Accumulating renown, power and loyalty will raise your status. This gives us history if we wanted it. Okay. Outlander. You grew up in the wilds, learning to survive far from the comforts of civilization. Surviving unusual hazards of the wild will enhance your prowess and understanding. Okay, so athletics and survival. Sage. You are curious and well-read, with an unending thirst for knowledge? Okay. Learning about rare lore of the world will inspire you to put this knowledge to greater purpose. I very much like this. Soldier. You're trained in battlefield tactics and combat, having served in a militia, mercenary company, or officer corps. Show smart tactics and bravery on the battlefield to enhance your prowess. An urchin. After surviving a poor and bleak childhood, you know how to make the most out of very little, using your street smarts to bolster your spirit for the journey ahead. Now, there are two that jumped to me immediately, which is charlatan and sage, but the way sage is phrased means that I almost cannot not pick it after what I said earlier. The unending thirst for knowledge, I think that works really well. Finding rare lore, that works really well. So it gives us two different things that we can do with our character. We can either go and find secrets about people, or we can find secrets about the world, both of which will make us very happy. I think that works. So that gives us the skills acrobatics, stealth, arcana, history, performance, and persuasion. So what are we losing? So we don't have sleight of hand, which allows you to pick locks and pockets. It's weird. Does rogue not come with sleight of hand? Maybe rogue doesn't come with anything. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I guess it doesn't. Huh. Maybe we can take it separately. I would like sleight of hand, but I'm not entirely sold by not having it. Let's see. Okay. This is fine. Let's go to abilities. Maybe this screen will give us something. So you can change your skill proficiencies. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to help us a little bit. So we'll go back to that in a second. So, what have we got? Strength. Muscles and physical power affects your effectiveness with melee weapons. Also determines how far you can jump and how much you can carry. We don't want that to be a complete dump stat. Actually, maybe we do want that to be a complete dump stat, because I believe that rogues would probably be looking to use a finesse weapon, which can use their dex, so you probably don't want that much strength. In fact, we could probably do with less strength, in a way, if we could lower that any further. I don't think we can. Then we have dexterity. Agility, reflexes, and balance affects your effectiveness with ranged and finesse weapons, also affects your initiative and armor class. Cool. Constitution. Stamina and physical endurance affects your hit points and or your hit point maximum. Intelligence. Memory and mental power improves spellcasting for wizards. Okay. Wisdom. Senses and intuition improves spellcasting for clerics, druids, and rangers. And then charisma, force of personality, improves spellcasting for bards, paladins, sorcerers, and warlocks. Influences traders' prices, but also gives you bonus to charisma checks. I do want our charisma to be a little bit higher. Okay. Let's think about this here. Can I raise this anymore? Like, if I took some out, could I raise this? No, so it looks like 17 is our max here if we want to get up to that. Right, like if I take out a whole bunch of things. Yeah, there's no way that can go up. So I'll just click use recommended for a second. Okay. What I might do is I might just take a few points out of some of these. And maybe do that. Gives us a little bit higher charisma. But maybe I might take a couple points out of con and stick those also into charisma. Oh, that gives me 1 extra point. Oh yes, because I see. Maybe we could... I don't really want a 13. 13 I don't think gives us the bonuses that we're looking for. Just thinking of how I want to do it. Maybe I want to do this. I can't get it up to 16, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I can't get up to 16. So that doesn't really help us at all either. Yeah, maybe I do want to just do that. Maybe this is our best path forward. I think that seems okay. Yeah, I think that seems fine. What's your proficiency bonus? Added to ability checks and saving throws against skill you are proficient in, making them more likely to succeed. It's also added in attack rolls when attacking with weapons you're proficient with, increasing your chance to hit. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at our skill proficiencies. So these are inherited from background. Are the rest things that we don't even have to take? Oh, you don't even have to take any of these. I see. Expertise. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check that uses either of your chosen proficiencies. Ah, and this must be what our rogue thing was giving us. Okay. Well, I would love to have sleight of hand, right? Which is something that we currently do not have. So, is there anything I'd give up? I'd give up performance for sleight of hand, I think. There we go. So, persuasion, acrobatics, sleight of hands, and stealth. I don't even know if I need acrobatics, honestly. I don't think that's something I'm going to be doing. I think I'm more interested in deception. Lying and cheating, manipulating the truth. I think that sounds more like what I'm into. Although insight, reading people in situations, detecting lies, that's also good. This is the indecision of character creation. I think I'm more interested in insight than I am in deception, right? I'm more interested in knowing if somebody's lying to me than being able to lie to them. So that's where we're going to go with this. Next up, we have to choose what we want our expertise to be in. Honestly, I want my expertise to be insight and persuasion. I want to know everything that we can know, and I want to be able to talk people into whatever I want to talk them into. Yeah. I think this is good, and we also still have pretty good bonuses in these. Double check expertise. Bonus is doubled for any ability check that uses either of your chosen proficiencies. Yeah, that's fine. We have pretty good bonuses there. I think that works for me. I think I'm happy with the list of things we've ended up with. Cool. Right, now, I'm gonna click proceed, and hopefully it doesn't chuck us directly into the game. If you have to choose a name, I suspect it will chuck us in. Okay, so let's do appearance. Okay. We can be I guess we want to be zoomed out to see difference. Okay, I gotta say, female and, alright, I see. It's not actually changing the body type. That's this one. Okay. That's fine. I think we can be a male. That seems fine. I like the red underbit as well that you get here. Head. I quite like these horns. We can stick with that. Crest. So what actually is the crest? So this is up here then. Alright, it's kind of like where this lies. So I guess in terms of head, we're actually looking at this bit right here. I quite like this one actually, in that case. Then we could choose like that crest to go with it. Alright. Ooh, that's neat. These are some cool options. I'm not too into just the flat reptile look. Interesting. I quite like, where was it? I quite like this one. The quilled wedge. I think that's neat. I think that could work for us. And then chin. So we can have a chin with you have different types of bone on it. Oh, okay. This is odd. I like it though. It's very odd. But this one. It's got something to it. I do like the single horn. Let's go with this one. Okay, next, jaws. So we have no jaw attachment, or we can add in these. So instead of like a hair choice, we get the choice of what kind of like spikes we want. That's neat. Nest of needles, dragon lass, shark's fins, taunting stylus, coral ridges. It's a little bit too far out for me. Porcupine chops, jaws of ruin, somber calamity, and then royal plateau. I think I'm looking for a little bit of spike, but something more in like I guess the intense crown is kind of what I'm looking for. Cool. And then we can choose our skin color between all the different types of white. Now I think the reason it has all skin colors is you can choose what you like, but because we are a specific type of dragon, it's suggesting that we pick, you know, one of the colors that fits our specific type of dragon. I like the red, but some of these other ones are neat too. Kind of like the purple here as well. It's a little bit otherworldly, and I think in the dark that could look quite nice. Okay. Yeah, that also gives off a bit of a roguey feeling. Just the darker colors. You'd see you kind of blending in. I think I might go this one. Now let's confirm that. Well, I don't know. I'm seeing it further away. I do like the ones that are more pronounced. But you know what? This is good. I like it. Confirm. Is that everything we get to choose? Not at all. Body art. Piercing style. Fastened stars. Is that... Alright, yeah, I can see it's here. Lapis stud muffin. Subdura loops. Oh yeah, so these are very small. Okay. Huh. I might go with none of these. But they are interesting. It's very difficult to see them, honestly. I'm wondering how much of an effect these are actually going to have. As in, like, how much you're going to see them. I think we can avoid that. How about eyes? There we go. So you can have heterochromia. So we have flame red right now. Choose between different types of eyes here. See, we have little bits of red in there. How about a lighter red? I think that could work. Yeah, something like that, like a less intense one. That might be the... No, this was the initial one. But these are almost... Or these ones were almost identical. Yeah, they're close. We'd also go with kind of that purple styling here. I think that could work. Seeing how it looks from further away. Because that's probably how you're going to see it most of the time, right? Might just stick with red. No, I'll stick with red. That's fine. Makeup. Do we want any makeup? It just looks odd. No, we'll stick that off. And then tail. Very important. We currently have no tail. We could have a big tail. Bigger tail. Bigger tail. No, I'm kind of into the no tail look. I think that works for me. Right. So, that gives us our character. Proceed. Now we have to pick a character name. I am going to call him... Do we have a randomize name button? There's randomize everything else, but no randomize name, huh? Gone for Tav. We're Dragonborn Rogue. We're going to be... Drogu. We're going to be Drogu. Due to being a Dragonborn Rogue. My names are horrible. I apologize. Interrupting my past self to say that there is more character creation after this point, which I did not know because I had not clicked proceed. So, if I click proceed, it says we need to choose a guardian. I don't know what a guardian is. I don't know what choice would be good or bad. I have absolutely no concept. You can't choose their class. You can choose nothing about them except for what they look like. So, what are we going to think? It could be like an elf, drow? Tiefling? What kind of guardian would make sense for a dragonborn? The thing that makes sense to me, I think, would have to be an elf, right? It kind of makes sense. Elves and dragonborn seem like they fit together well in terms of the type of one that you'd have as a guardian. Like, I think a dwarf and a dragonborn, that seems like it would be odd. Like, a human and a dragonborn would be odd. But you know, the idea of having an elf be a guardian or like a mentor, that seems like the kind of thing that would fit well. Now, of course, I don't actually know what a guardian is. We just need to choose one. So, let's do it. I can choose subrace. They can be a high elf or a wood elf. They're going to be a high elf. As far as I can tell, this is probably just for appearance's sake. Can I randomize, like, in here? No, because this also changes their race as well. Okay, well, that's not useful. I mean, it is useful, but I would much prefer it randomize, like, the step I'm on. It's body type 1, body type 2, body type 3, body type 4. Why don't we have a bulky lady as our guardian? That seems good. Right. Voice?
Remarkable.
Wait, did we choose voice for us back here? In our edit appearance? We didn't. We didn't even go for the voices.
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Hells.
Be wary.
It's opened.
More of those wretched things.
There's magic keeping this chest sealed.
Where to next?
What was that?
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
I think I like that one. Let's go with that one. I just realized we hadn't picked one. Right. Proceed. Back to our bulky elf.
Good luck.
Follow your instincts.
Oh, there are only
Don't
two
be
voices.
afraid.
Remarkable.
Well, I will choose voice 1 then. In terms of head, I don't know. They all seem very similar. With that, I could see our guardian having like a scar. Sounds interesting. Maturity. I feel that they should be older. Okay, the sliders aren't making a ton of difference. Maybe if I zoom in. Oh yeah, now it's making a difference. I feel like they should be a little bit battle worn. Again, I don't really know what a guardian is. I don't think we need that necessarily. Like maybe a little of that. There we go. So we've got a character who's looking like they're a little bit battle worn. I don't know whether that's what they should be, but we'll see. Do you want them to have body art on them? I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of this character is, so I'm not entirely sure what we want them to be. I might just leave this as it was. Eyes, elf silver. I don't know. Let's go with elf silver. Makeup. I don't know if we need any specific makeup on. Hair. We got any like crazy looking hair? I like the I like the tidy mohawk as they puts it. That's kind of interesting. The braids. Hair down one side. What have we got here? Very messy. Interesting. What's this called? Neverwinter scarf. Oh, okay. Portrait model. Myth maker. There are a lot of different hairstyles. Wow. Okay. I think I might go all the way back. I think I like this one. Gives us our kind of warrior look. Hair color, so we can choose that. But I also see like we can choose the highlights as well. So what do those change on us here? Change very little on us here. Oh, but that's because I have my intensity turned down. Oh, there we go. Now we can see it. I've gone back a stage. Okay. How about we go kind of red? And actually, it's not red anymore. We're kind of grey. And then that could match us a little bit. It kind of matches the look of our character in terms of the hair. Oh, that could be cool. You can choose a graying intensity. Maybe just slightly grey. Yeah. I think that looks cool. Yeah, let's go with that. And now the button says venture forth. Fantastic. So thank you very much for watching character creation, and I hope to see you in the actual series, which will be starting as soon as the video uploads after I finish recording it. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.